And then, of course, then you have the aggregators are more stable. We were trying, by the way, to launch here PageFlakes for you, and it didn't work so much. So what I'm going to do is to show you some screenshots, and then you can go to PageFlakes when this presentation is over, when you have time, and then check around. That's the pageflakes.com. I'm sorry, I should put the whole thing, I guess. And then in my presentation you have the my flakes, my pages. So what are these social personalized start pages? They are more interesting because you can add different things. You don't only subscribe to feeds, but you can have like a little window where students put their comments. So let me show you, and then I'll be back here. This is the Bloglines regular aggregator or newsreader, where you have on here you have all the subscriptions. You can do like these different folders, and then on the right side you have the feeds, the information that is coming to your aggregator, and then once you read it, you can keep it if you find it interesting, or you can erase it. So this is just Bloglines. Then we will see Google Reader, and this is PageFlakes, which is a little bit more sophisticated. I don't know if you can see here, but then this is a page a page flake. It's like a module that I developed for one class for heritage speakers, and then I decided to add different, they call them here on PageFlakes, modules where you can have different information. The first one, I have like a Twitter subscription. So if your class is using Twitter, you can have on your PageFlakes a subscription to everything that your students are saying on Twitter. So you don't need to go to all their Twitter accounts. You can subscribe to that, and you can ask your students to use a tag or a hashtag like we are doing right now with this conference, and then you will receive automatically that information on your PageFlakes. And then of course you can share that with your students so they can see what other students are saying. So it's a way to, no, I don't think they work within a Blackboard. I mean, you have to, but you can, at least you can protect what you do with the password and invite only your students to I mean, for this environment. Some people, I think it was Ensa, when I saw her on Calico, she was using PageFlakes for her Italian classes as a platform, as a learning platform. She wasn't using any other platform. She could, because you can add here anything. And you can have like a work, like one of these flakes could be anything. You can have a calendar for the activities. I have here like a little blog where students can comment. Here I have a different, I'm saying here, this is the blog where students can post, any student of the classroom could post anything. Then I added here like a timeline. Yes, Jody, you can password protect. You can only make the PageFlakes visible for your student, for the users you want. So users have to have an account on PageFlakes, and then you invite them. But as you know, anything on the internet is not completely private. So be careful with that. Even things happen. So still, then the other thing you can do is to give privileges for students to be the creators of this flake. So and tell them, okay, I want you to add here things like subscriptions and so on. But I used that for another project with colleagues, and it was, there were some things missing in the middle of, because somebody made a mistake. So if you want to grant author privileges to your students or to somebody you are working on a common project like this one, you can do it, but then make sure that person is not going to erase the whole thing, because with PageFlakes, once you erase one of these modules, these little things are flakes. You have a big selection of different things you can put there. So once you erase one of those, there's no way to recover that. You have to create it again. So with authorship, in that sense, is a little bit more tricky. But you can have the students, at least, you know, because you want them to be to participate. They can have their own flakes if you want, or they can use this as comments, and you can ask them to do comments about whatever information you put here. So this is a basic page flake. So how do I use these things in the classroom? Because I ask students to use blogs and wikis, and for me it's much easier to get all that information they put on their blogs on my reader than going to, you know, each of the blogs. This one you see right now is a blog. Every student has to write in the class, the Spanish culture class, which is a 400 level class. So students had like 10 topics they had to write about, and every student was specialized in one of the autonomic regions of Spain. Yeah, thank you so much. So the first one was to describe the region, then they had to find out about working conditions there, different things. So they had like 10 different things to write about, and then they had to post those things on a blog. So for me, then it was much easier. Instead of going to the 20 blogs or so, 17 blogs I had last semester, is to have, this is Google Reader. So I had a subscription here, and you can see a span for 61 fall 2009, and then I have all the communities, Aragon, Baleares, the regions of Spain, and then I was getting on in my feed, you know, as part of my feeds, all the updates of my students. So I could see also when the students were working on the projects, because the idea was for them to do one entry or one of the tasks every week. And of course, most of them did the 10 things in the last week of the semester. So if they know, you know, if I use this other model as well, let me see here, where I had a page flakes, and then I had the subscription is here. So this is the same type of information you were seeing before, but instead of seeing it like a feed, like here in Aragon, maybe, then I see it like this, and not only I can see it, my students can see it. So that's another way to subscribe to information, but to make it a little bit more, more social, so students can see, you know, what I'm checking from their blogs and everything. And I can add more things, like here I have some pictures and videos they could use for the blogs. Then I had all the links for this class here. Then I had a page for them to submit questions and things like that. So there is a little difference. So I put that here so you can see how it looks when you have a subscription in Google Reader and you click on one of these links. Then I'm sorry, too fast. Then you see the entry like this. That's the entry of the blog you can see online if you click on the link. On the other hand, the entry you were seeing is this one here on your right. Yes, that's right. NCAR says, you can click on the title and open it from the original page. In both things, you can do that. In here, if I click here in Semana de Aragón, it will bring me to the source, to the original source, and the same happens on page flakes. If I click here where it says Semana en Aragón, then I would go to the thing. The only thing with page flakes, you see, you can have other tools that will provide students with more opportunities to comment on the whole class work.